Ripple community, we have a very, 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 very special treat. All the way from Tokyo, Japan, we have CryptoEri on the show.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the show. It actually really, really means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we finally got it done, so thank you for being patient.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just had to make sure it's recording. Okay, this ain't top-notch production. But anyway, yeah, we're
Okay.
recording. We're recording.
Yeah, it's okay. I never script. I never edit. So I think it's best just to shoot and go.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching some of your videos, and I seen the cat jumped up there, and you was like, nah, I'm not going to stop recording. I was like, yeah, I do that all the time myself. Well, thank you so much. I mean, like, I seen when you came in the live stream, you see, and you know, the Ripple community loves you. You know, the crypto community in whole, too, but when you came in that live stream, they were like, yeah, we love you.
Yeah, it's really unique group.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're an amazing group, that's for sure. You know, I heard on a video today there was an earthquake in Japan.
Yeah, we had a 6.0 in the morning, but that's pretty common because this country shakes a lot. This one just happened to be really close to Tokyo, so it was on the news. But the country itself has a lot of earthquakes every day.
Wow, every day.
Yeah, every day.
Wow.
Yeah, if I looked at my app, which I won't waste your time on that now, but everybody has an app and it shows the location and the intensity. And
wow.
I think just today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and more. Yeah, so multiple.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know there was, 10 earthquakes a day?
Well, there's a lot of faults, and there are also a lot of plates that are subducting out in the Pacific Ocean. It's part of the Ring of Fire. Goes up over Alaska and down the coast of Canada, all the way down to Baja, Mexico. So all the way down, you know, Washington, Oregon, California, and to the tip. So this whole area is moving with the plate tectonics. And then within the country itself, there's a lot of faults.
Wow.
Lots of faults.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, another thing I want to ask you about is I remember maybe a couple years ago I seen it on YouTube and I was blown away. I mean, they had like an unbelievable tsunami there. Yeah,
March 11th. Yeah, it was really still recovering there, and it was a huge event, and I think more than 20,000 people lost their lives, and it has changed the way a lot of Japanese, not only just building homes, but where they live and precautions that they take in terms of drills and laws that are passed that if we do get another major quake again within the city, you're not allowed to go home. You have to basically hunker down and not go anywhere until the government can make sure that roads are safe. And fire is a big thing. So, you know, they need to have the roads clear. So if their emergency vehicles need to get through, so you can imagine this city by day is like 25 million people. And when you have 25 million people walking home because the trains stop, the emergency vehicles can't get through.
Oh, okay. Wow. So since that tsunami, I mean, I know it's not nothing to do with crypto. I'm just curious, but has it been cleaned up since then, or are they still repairing the area, or?
Well, the nuclear power plant is still under cleanup, and it'll take another 20 or 25 years to complete.
Wow.
And the communities within the coast from, you know, the affected areas where the tsunami was, they're still still rebuilding, and there's still people in temporary housing. So it's not totally fixed yet.
Wow. Well, I'll definitely pray for them and speedy recovery. That's for sure. I know over there, you know, it's brilliant people, so I know everything's going to be just fine.
Japanese are really amazing in the face of disasters. This country has a lot of natural disasters. There's flooding going on right now in the And just last night, 52 people have lost their lives, and there's many missing. So when you deal with this kind of Mother Nature force all the time, the Japanese have become quite stoic and take it in stride.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess, us as humans, we do the best we can in the face of diversity. That's for sure. Well, on a lighter subject.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just curious. The thing is, I do
your question.
Yeah. Basically, the thing is, I do a lot of research when it comes to news. I like world news, me personally, and I love cultures. And actually, that's why I actually really love the fluff part of your videos, because it actually gives everybody a sample of what's going on over there. Like, as far as the Hello Kitty train, that was amazing. I was like, hold on, Hello Kitty train. And then the other train, you said you can balance a quarter in the window. I said, my goal is to ride that train.
Yeah, you're balancing a coin at 180 miles per hour.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing.
That's amazing. All right, well, my main question is everybody is really, really curious because, you do bring a whole different perspective to the crypto Ripple world. You're all the way over there in Tokyo. Everybody wants to know. I'm just
an 8-hour flight. That's it. Just 8 hours.
Oh, just 8 hours, and that's from what, California?
Actually, if I want the shortest trip, it would be Tokyo to Vancouver, BC.
Oh, okay.
And if I go into LA, it's 10 hours.
Now, you're originally from the States?
Yeah, I grew up in the West Coast. I grew up in California. I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in Palo Alto, which is the heart of Silicon Valley.
Oh, you're going to have a lot more fans now. All the California people will be like, yeah.
But I lived in Portland. I lived in Seattle. And before I came to Tokyo, I was living in LA. So I'm top to bottom.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. That's huge. So how in the world, if I may ask, did you end up all the way in Tokyo, Japan?
Well, I also lived in London, England. So,
did you?
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I mean, anybody can come to Tokyo. There's huge opportunity here for different types of skill sets. So even though the unemployment rate runs about 1% to 2%, there still is a huge labor shortage.
Wow.
And so I think if you have any desire to try another side of the world, Japan is a great place to try.
Wow. Well, there's your answer right there, crypto community. It seems like there's plenty of employment over there. Now, what about blockchain positions and coders and
yeah, of course, that's a worldwide shortage. We need full stack developers and programmers and software engineers all over the world. So there's a huge shortage, and it's very competitive. If you're in that field, you're really going to be pursued, and probably the salaries will be higher than ever. And
wow.
they're trying to recruit from places like India and Taiwan.
Wow.
And China. So, there's just not a shortage of jobs when it comes to people who have those computer skills. But also, if you have a college degree and English is your mother tongue, you can also teach English. Only about 3% of the whole entire population speaks English. So there's still a huge demand for native speakers to teach English.
No, you could just, if you know English, but what if you don't know Japanese? You can still teach English?
Actually, it's preferable if you're going to go into that field that you don't speak Japanese, because they don't want you to, they want to throw those, especially the young kids, high school and elementary school kids, they want to kind of do a submersion into fully 100% English environment.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
They don't want you to speak Japanese at all.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, moving on. My next question is how in the world did you decide to basically get into cryptocurrency and, to start making a YouTube channel where you talk about cryptos and Ripple, and how did you decide to get into that? Well,
it was really based on a lunch I had with one of my friends who is a coder here in Tokyo. He's from the UK. His name is Chris.
Okay.
He runs the website now called Tokyo Cheapo, which is a website that's geared towards teaching everybody how to make your get the most maximum out of your money for the biggest bang for your buck, as you say in English. So where you can go in Tokyo for the least amount of money with the biggest impact of experience. And but before that, this is back in 2003, I think, I had been sitting on some URLs from my web days, and I'd been kind of cyber squatting since 1996, 97 on some URLs. Okay. And it just so happened I had a URL he wanted to buy.
Wow.
And so we made that deal happen.
Okay.
And in doing so, we became friends. And then we would have lunch together maybe once a month.
Okay.
And we were having lunch in Shibuya, and this was 2013. And we were having, I was eating eggs Benedict at a Hawaiian restaurant. And I can just remember as clear as day, he told me about this Bitcoin.
Oh,
and actually he talked about Litecoin too. It was Bitcoin and Litecoin were the 2 coins he talked about. And I didn't get it at all. I mean, I didn't get it at all. Okay. And when I asked him questions, it even got fuzzier. Like the more questions I asked, the more I didn't understand. So then I went home and I was doing some research, and I thought, okay, I really trust my friend Chris. He really is tapped into what's happening in the world in regards to tech.
Okay.
So I said, if Chris says this is a good thing, I'm going to give it a try. So I didn't want to go through opening. In those days, it was like Mount Gox was one of the exchanges that you could open, in Japan. But I didn't want to go through all that hassle, so I bought on eBay.
eBay, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They sold Bitcoin on eBay before?
Yeah, they don't do it now.
Okay.
But they because I had a PayPal account, and I thought, okay, so I bought 2 times, and put it in a wallet, and I have to tell you, and I'm the first time I've ever told this publicly. Okay. I lost my private keys.
Oh wow, yeah. I think that was a common mistake. That's for sure. Not really probably realizing the future of Bitcoin at that point.
No, it was under $600 at the time, and I just didn't understand the importance of keeping those private keys. So I still have the wallet address, of course, but I can't remember my password, and I can't recover the account because I've lost all those private keys, which are the worst. So my coins are, some of that. What do they estimate now? How many lost coins? 4 million?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, a huge article came out on that. They're saying that just the amount of people that lost their keys are going to be so many coins, it's not going to be recovered. I think in the future they're going to have something that where we can recover, gain some kind of access. Because I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Bank of Mellon, Matthew Mellon, who bought the 2 million in XRP around 2015, and then he passed away in rehab, and they're saying it's worth $2 billion. Nobody can access his Ripple.
Yeah, I did kind of read that story.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So I'm pretty sure they're going to come up with some kind of way that, they say, hold on to them, but there's got to be some kind of way.
Mentally, I've totally written it off, but that's a huge advice to everybody is be careful with your keys.
I mean, I agree. If it makes you feel any better, when I first got into crypto, when you purchase from here, this required you start a wallet, and this required a wallet, and I was just buying this and buying that and setting this up and I didn't really realize the importance of keeping all the information. So, nothing like that as far as whole Bitcoin's really cheap and they went up to 20,000, but I can relate to misplacing stuff in the beginning.
Yeah. Can't be helped. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then I guess you, so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If you just fast forward into this beginning of this year, I've been listening to YouTubers for a long time, and I got hooked on a lot of YouTubers and enjoyed all of them. Still do, still follow, still listen all the time. But I realized that nobody was covering stories from Japan.
Wow.
So I just said, well, I'm here. I love the space. I'll try.
Wow. Yeah, you hit that right on the money, actually. Yeah, and thank you for covering from Japan. Actually, I think that's what really grabbed people's attention at first, too, because it's actually because we hear about Japan all the time through the Ripple relationships and Ripple this Japan and SBI this. And so to actually have somebody over there in Japan is huge. And I think that's why everybody's like, yeah, now we got a person in Japan bringing us that good crypto news.
Well, that maybe is what I try to do, too, is to bring stories out that aren't being covered. So that's always been kind of a focus, is to always, within a video, always have at least one story that is originating from Japan that is not hitting the mainstream news.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, believe it or not, I think that's why I really enjoy your content, too, because like you said, it is from Japan, but you actually have your own way of research. And actually, I really like the way you research it. It kind of reminds me of myself, because mainly what I do is I like going in older articles, too, because I think a lot of people do overlook a lot of really important facts. And because everybody's in such a rush, we're in a rush time. But yeah, the way you do it was, but actually you're really good as far as an analysis of the article, and let's go to their LinkedIn, and let's go to this, and yeah, you do go the extra mile. Thank you for your hard work.
I used to do due diligence a long time ago in my past for companies, so I learned how to do a lot of research and find things on companies and people that they were trying to hide when they were either they were trying to acquire some money from a VC for a new round of funding, or they were trying to be a reverse merger, or maybe they were also trying to go public. And all that due diligence needs to be done. And if you don't do due diligence wisely,
yeah, exactly,
you're in big trouble. So, and the advice I have always for people who are trying to do research is just follow the money. Follow the money.
Wow.
So like that deal with WireX, they had an $80 million round of funding this last week. It's a huge amount of money. And Tencent, which is a big investment holdings company out of China, was the lead investor. And if you go to TechCrunch, you can see those deals, and you can see all the participants, who's leading, and all the people that come in on those certain rounds. So you can follow the money by searching who's doing the investment, and then that gives you a clue as to other partners, other investments, key people within those groups, because those key people are usually connected or tied to other partners. There's in this business, it's getting so mature that people are starting to play off the synergy of partnerships. So I think it's not so much merger and acquisitions as it's been in the past, but there's a lot more strategic partnerships happening. So if there's money coming from somebody and you follow that money trail, it's going to tell you on the peripheral, who those other partners are that can have a play. So that's just one of the ways to do it.
I'm telling you, I like your channel more and more now. That's one of my mottos, is follow the money, and the proof is in the partnerships. Yeah, that's it simplifies it. And like you said, that's one hell of a way to do it. That's for sure. My other question is basically, I'm hearing all this stuff about Bitcoin basically being legal in Japan, and you can use it at 4,500 locations, and you can pay for this and pay for that, and Bitcoin machines. Is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as big in Japan as, I'm going to say Ripple also. Let me throw Ripple in there, because I love Ripple. We love Ripple. But is it as big in Japan as I've seen on YouTube?
Well, I think the places that you can go and use your crypto to pay are pretty amazing. And the coins are diverse, place by place. Right now, I think the majority of places are large franchises, not so much the mom and pop shops, although there are some mom and pop shops that are accepting crypto, but the majority are the large chains.
Okay.
So, yeah, and you know, I think I might have told you a little bit before, but Roger Ver of BCH lives in Tokyo. Wow. And he has a large fan base and following and very loyal community here. He has boots on the ground, actually going and doing marketing to individual locations throughout the city. So there's a lot of places that take BCH. And I think he just did a deal, and you can find the video on the YouTube, which talks about his convenience store deal. So when they roll out this new POS, which is the point of sale, BCH is going to be one of the options to pay, and that is going to be available in almost all the convenience stores. So it ramps up to about 260,000 locations.
Wow. Holy moly, that's going to be huge. Yeah, I was listening to one of your videos earlier. Didn't you say something about like invisible hands, or they call it a visible hand or something like that?
Well, that's the SBI, Mr. Kitao-san of SBI Holdings just did a partnership on Friday with a Japanese company, tech company, a biometrics company called Liquid. Okay. And Liquid is another POS system that you actually pay with your scanning of your fingertips.
Wow.
So they call it what is it, handless shopper or something, because you don't need your purse, you don't need your wallet, you don't need your cash. All you need is your fingertips, and you can pay. Yeah, and I think the rollout is in the thousands of store locations. And it's going in the new bank, Shinkin Bank. Shinkin Bank is one of the official partners of Ripple. Okay. Because they are in if you look up on the Ripple website, Shinkin Central Bank, they are one of the 47 banks in the consortium. So, yeah, it's not just futuristic. It's coming. It's here.
Wow. Believe it or not, I hate to say this. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bearable Guy 123.
I just started hearing. I don't know who this guy is, and I think he's there's a mystery, right? And people are trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who he is, and there's like a bunch of riddles, and I didn't really follow too close for the last few months, but then I got really interested in it because I did a lot of Federal Reserve research, and I tied some of his riddles to the Federal Reserve. But today, when I was listening to your videos and preparing for the interview, when you actually used the biometric term, and then you said it's called the invisible hand, it kind of reminded me of one of the Bearable Guy riddles, because there's these hands, there's three hands, and they're like kind of see-through but invisible, and they're reaching for the Ripple logo. And you said it's called Invisible Hands, and it's a Ripple relationship. I was like,
I don't know.
Did we just solve a riddle? But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've been down the Bearable Guy rabbit hole a little too much. I'm sorry for that.
So where do you think who is he? Where is he? Who is he? Where is he?
Well, believe it or not, you got to be really careful, because once you start looking at the riddles, it sucks you in right away. Like, you're like, oh, let me find out what's going on here. It's like very addicting. Exactly like Ripple in itself in cryptos. Once you hear about it, you get absorbed. And that's what happened with the Bearable Guy. Some people say, oh, I know who it is. And some people don't know who it is. And I think it's
sounds like he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. That's for sure. Like, at first I ignored it and thought it was a tad bit silly. And then once I really started taking it serious, I was like, hold on, this is interesting. Anyway, back to, so my question is so basically you started talking about, the Bitcoin and being really popular there, and the Bitcoin Cash group. Is there a Ripple group over there?
Yeah, there's a Ripple community, and I did a video on the kind of not leader, but the influencer on YouTube. He is a guy by the name of Nanafushi. And he's a big Ripple. He's a Rippler. Okay, is what they call him here. The Ripplers.
Okay, yeah. Rippler.
He's a Rippler, and he has a website that I think he also does a lot of public speaking as well, and he's a little bit of a celebrity. I mean, he'll appear sometimes on TV.
Wow.
So he's well known, even outside the Ripple community. He's well known.
Wow. Okay, so my question is like basically, so you got into talking about cryptos, and so Bitcoin interests you, and then I noticed that you cover Ripple, a little bit more these days, like me myself too. Is it?
Yeah, well, the community is so appreciative, that I have lately felt compelled to give a little more information to the Ripplers outside of Japan, because there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening in Japan with Ripple, so it just makes sense to share that information. I mean, that was the whole purpose why I wanted to do a channel, is to bring the kind of missing component from Japan.
Yeah, I think Japan's almost, from the research I've done, it's almost been like ground one. I mean, first relationship I can remember is the 61 banks in Japan, and now I'm hearing all this about the SBI and the SBI Asia relationship, and SBI Asia owns 60% of. Is that the separate entity of Ripple?
SBI Holdings has 60%, Ripple has 40%, and it's I'm sorry, I need to clarify that. It's SBI, it's the SBI Asia.
Okay.
Ripple Asia.
Yeah, Ripple Asia.
Yeah. We get so mixed up with the names.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet the Ripple community is really strict when it comes to mixing up XRP and Ripple. You have to really keep those separate.
Yeah, exactly. That's ever since Brad Garlinghouse elaborated on, we need to make sure that they're separate, because that's what gives it its decentralization.
Yeah.
Not being connected to Ripple. So, yeah, even my same thing, too. They're like, make sure you separate them. Oh, okay, no problem. Thanks for reminding me, that's for sure. So, what's your thoughts on, what do you think about this relationship with SBI? And I noticed that they have a bank-owned crypto exchange with Ripple. I think it's called VC Trade.
VC Trade.
And this is like a bank that's actually starting a crypto exchange, and they said they're going to use mainly like Ripple is their top choice. Maybe I think for pairing with the yen. They launched with just Ripple. So they launched their first 2 weeks, I think it was, in the 20,000 pre-approved testers. Okay. They launched with just Ripple, but they've added BCH and BTC since they've gone into their testing phase. Okay. So they're supposed to go live to the entire public sometime this month. We don't have a date yet, but it could be any day. Okay. And yeah, so he launched, and he's going to, I think, really put XRP on steroids here, because the SBI has been, before VC Trade, they've had the FX Trado site where they have been trading currency, and it's a very well established, active, popular, huge campaign website. So I think it's just natural for him then to kind of expand that world and bring in the other coins. Yeah. So it'll be big. Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be huge too. I mean, 20,000, I think, pre-registered, and then when they're going to go live. How are we going to know when they go live? Are you keeping a close eye on that for us? Yeah, I've been checking on the website, and I've been checking the news, because when I do source for stories, I'm just not talking to my friends. I have some friends who are mining here in Japan. I have some friends who are in the banking business, but I'm also searching the Japanese website. So I have been checking for an announcement, and I'm going to guess that announcement will be either on the website and or on the SBI website in the news section, but I've yet to see it. So I think it's going to be any day. I don't know. I just don't know when. I know. I'm really excited about that. What was you saying earlier when we were talking about the relationship with Yahoo and another? Yeah, I think the Ripplers are thinking that SBI is going to be like this huge impact, and of course it's going to have an impact. But I think what they're missing is that there are two other players
coming into the space in Japan that I think are going to be even bigger.
Okay.
But, you know, Kitao-san's going to tell me, no, Eddie, you're wrong, because we're going to be number one. So he really has his eyes set on being number one. And if he comes up with some campaigns, you know, the BitBank right now is number one with XRP. They're doing the majority of trading because they have a zero fee campaign that runs through the end of September. So he's going to have to come. I mean, he's got competition. SBI's got competition. So he's going to, I think, like all of the exchanges out there, to constantly reinvent yourself and offer some enticing value added option is what's going to set you apart. So I have no doubt he's going to do some amazing campaigns when he goes live. But BitBank right now is the number one place where Japanese are trading XRP. But there is Yahoo and there is Line coming with exchanges.
Okay.
And Yahoo, which I've said and may be surprising to you, but they are the go-to search engine news site in Japan. They have the strongest branding, and they are using the Google algorithm for their search, but people go to Yahoo. They think it's all Yahoo. Yahoo is going to start an exchange, and that is huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
And then we have Line. And Line is the messaging app. So it's equivalent to either WhatsApp or the Facebook Messenger app.
Okay.
And they're not going to launch in Japan first, because I think they're waiting for some regulatory decisions to be made before they come to Japan. But they're going to go to many other parts of Asia, including Indonesia and Thailand and India. So, you know, the Line is just, you can imagine if you open up your Facebook and you've got this option to go right into trading on the same platform.
Wow. Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's going to be huge. It is a new day.
Yeah. The SBI customer is a little more sophisticated and older, and they're seasoned traders, if you will.
Okay.
But Line is really popular, of course, all ages, but really reaching into the younger generation, the millennials. And then you have Yahoo, which is from the top to the bottom. So you need to keep your eye on those two exchanges. Those are going to make huge impact in this space.
Wow, I'll definitely keep a close eye on those, and I'll just make sure. I already subscribed to your channel, but I got to make sure I hit the notification bell also, because I know you're keeping a close eye on it for us, too. My other quick question is, you know, we're winding down. I got about one or two more questions. I really like to thank you. My question is I'm always hearing about partnerships in Japan with the 61 banks and the SBI and everything going on with Ripple. You know, where do you see Ripple in maybe 5 years from now or 10 years from now?
Like, define that question. How do I see it? How?
I know that wasn't a question I sent you. I kind of threw you on the spot. Like, far as example, like the momentum they're picking up. Like, we have 61 banks now, and they're basically utilizing X Current, and you know, my belief is they're using X Rapid behind the scenes. But like, I mean, like, far as example, I mean, we got 61 banks already now, or 100 banks, and I mean, do you see 200 banks and 500 banks, maybe mass adoption, or you know, can we continue with this momentum that Ripple has been having for all this time?
I think it's just scratched the surface. I think you need to watch the application MoneyTap.
Okay.
Because that's the solution that SBI is using for mobile payment. And it's it's going to incorporate that technology. So MoneyTap. If a couple of days ago I did a story on the CEO of Ripple Asia. He gave a speech out at the airport near Narita, and he talked about MoneyTap. MoneyTap is going to be probably one of the biggest migrations into users in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, MoneyTap.
Money Tap. I'm gonna keep a close eye on that. One of my last questions is the guy that you were talking about with SBI Asia. Is that the same guy I heard about one of the videos, like one of the richest men in the world, like maybe the 56th richest man, or is that? Am I mistaken?
No. The person who's heading up Ripple Asia is not one of those private investors. I'm sure he was handpicked by Kitao-san, but I think who you're talking about is maybe Masayoshi Son-san, who's a big investor. He's the owner of SoftBank, and SoftBank was the original investor for SBI Holdings. And
okay.
He's number one in Japan, and gosh, I don't know, he's in the top 10 in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like you said, I love to follow the money. Well, I mean, I'd like to really, really thank you for coming on the show. It means the world to me. Like I said, the Ripple community have been amazing and so supportive. Oh, yeah, matter of fact, one last thing before we go. I actually went through your videos today, and, it's a good thing that we're finally getting some diversity. Let me pull it up really quick. That we're finally getting some diversity on YouTube, because you actually had a comment in one of your videos, and it was from Miss Deborah, and she said, if you don't mind me reading it.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she said, I found you through Susie. Shout out to Susie Crow from Esoteric Trading. She was on the show. She said, I found you through Susie. Between you two women, I'm so excited that I can listen to a woman on YouTube now and not always men. Besides, you two have as much going on and maybe more than the men. I watch. Thanks for being there and keeping us updated on the news. I can send you and Susie hugs. I can't do that with the men.
Cute.
Yeah. I really liked that too. Like, she's like, I think that's another good thing that you decide to do videos, and, it actually brings us insight from Japan. And then people like this, she feels more, of course, compelled to come into your channel versus other channels. So, I'd like to just thank you for that, for bringing the news and, bringing some diversification to crypto.
Yeah, I think we're only representing about 3% of the whole industry, in terms of who's in the crypto space. And even in IT, I think the latest numbers are only 18% of women are in IT jobs. So, yeah, we're pretty rare, but I think we're a growing demographic. That's for sure. Yeah, we're just scratching the surface in this space. I mean, just think when especially all the Japanese women, the Japanese wife runs all the money in the household.
Huh?
Yeah. So, right now in Japan, most of the crypto enthusiasts are in their 20s and 30s. They're male and they're single. And then once they get married, they have to ask permission from their wife if they can spend this kind of money. Wow. So if we can get those Japanese women to migrate over to the crypto space, it's going to be huge. So that's maybe what I need to work on next.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe the culture is different here, but shopping is a big thing here. Shopping, never mind. Yep. So anyway, I guess we're going to wrap up the interview. I'd like to thank you so much. I know it's, like I said, we different time zones and all, and I just really thank you for coming on the show. It really means the world to me.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And like I said, if you guys haven't, well, I can't say that. Everybody knows who you are. Please go over to CryptoEri's channel, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so we can get that news all the way from Tokyo. And my biggest thing is thank you for bringing the fluff parts also. That's one of my favorite parts.
I think some people following just for the fluff, not for the crypto. I'm worried about that.
Yeah, you're right. Because believe it or not, it's like I listen to about 5 different YouTubers every day, and then it's like, okay, well, hold on, back to reality. Like, okay, there's a big world out there and cultures, and it just kind of gives you like a small break from crypto, which everybody needs, that's for sure.
Yeah, in the beginning, I was putting those fluff stories throughout, but I got some complaints from people who said, you know, I don't want to listen to that stuff. I just want the news. So I made a conscious decision then to always put it at the end, so that for those people who just want the news, they can exit off when I get to those kind of culture stories. So it's turned out to work, I think, okay, that order.
No, actually, I noticed everybody's like really supportive of it. And one thing I learned about in the YouTube world is you can't make everybody happy. You're always going to have one or two people that's going to say something, and I don't let that bother me at all, because the community is so supportive other way around. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, you have to have thick skin in this space, and if you let those thumbs down and those trolls get to you, you'll never continue.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. It's the same thing I told, Sue. I love Sue to death. She's amazing, but, sometimes somebody gives her a hard time. I'm like, Sue, just ignore them. And so now she's amazing, too. She's amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show. You guys are amazing. Who knows, maybe